All right. So for those not, let me make sure I can pronounce it correctly. Is it Bluhauz?
Yeah, it's Bluhauz, just like a Bluhauz.
Okay, so I've been pronouncing it wrong. But for those not familiar with Bluhauz, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator pitch?
The 2-sentence elevator pitch. It's you put me on the spot there. It's like a rock and roll train with some Led Zeppelin meets the blues, but with some more modern songwriting in it, and the live show is just going to be a powerhouse.
I know we're in a weird predicament here in a weird part of history, but do you guys have live stuff planned out already?
Yes, I'm actually flying out to LA now at the end of August to film for Jam in the Band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be performing in Miami and New York City in the coming month. So I'll be doing strategic shows this year, kind of like to present the album. And probably we're looking at festivals and touring more into next year.
Right. What's it going to feel like to get back on stage after all this time?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, I've done it with like cover shows and playing for other bands, not with Bluhauz yet because it's such a new project, and I just released the album this past Friday, August 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even playing that, the covers and for other artists, just the feeling of that spiritual connection you have when you play live and for people, and it's just a great feeling, you know. And I mean, it's going to be even more powerful when I get out and actually start playing these songs that I've been writing for a few years.
Right. Was there any kind of nerves or, I don't know, excitement getting back on stage that last time? I mean, the first time?
Definitely excitement. I mean, I've been around. I did a couple shows with my past band, Stone Giant. We did a bunch of festivals like Lollapalooza. You know, I've done every kind of show for 10,000 people, for 20 people in a pub in the middle of South Carolina. You know, I've done that gigging live for quite a. So I learned to control my nerves and transform them into like adrenaline. You know.
Right. When you've released so many records in the past, and when how would you compare releasing a record during this nonsense to the past? You had to work a lot harder to do this, right?
I would say so. I mean, like you said, it's all coming back now, and where it's going, we still don't know. So it's definitely a more challenging situation now. I feel like you gotta be very on top of your digital strategies and just promote that album and be patient, you know, because even though you see like Lollapalooza coming back at full capacity this past weekends, we still don't know where it's going or if there's going to be another pause. Hopefully not.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. I guess we got to be patient, you know, and we got to see that the light at the end of the tunnel, that if live shows were powerful before then, they're going to be even more powerful now, right? Like the people, I've seen the video of Foo Fighters playing at Lolla Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, right? The energy when Dave Grohl comes out and he plays times like this, starting the show.
It's crazy.
You can feel it, like even them, like acknowledging that they're back, you know?
Right.
So.
But even, I mean, the fans as well, everybody.
Everybody was like, you know, it's like the end of the world, and then this comes back again. It's a very powerful moment in history, and musicians have that responsibility of bringing that spirit back. So I'm expecting some very exciting years.
I hope you're right.
Music in general.
I hope you're right. I just think the music business has to evolve here, right? Because I don't know if it's practical to do like the full album thing anymore. Everybody's doing this new model of like, you know, a single at a time or a single every 6 weeks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Are you planning on doing anything like that, or are you going to just stick with the full length?
Well, I released 3 singles during the pandemic, actually.
Right. But going forward,
and then I released 2 singles July, and then I released the full album. Right. Moving forward, I mean, I just released the album, so I'll definitely be like promoting it for a full year.
oh yeah.
And then we're looking at releasing more singles, maybe doing a few collaborations with some cool artists.
Right.
And then, closer to like this date next year, I should be thinking of releasing the second album, and then
Right.
that's how it goes. You go into the studio, you write, you produce, you release an album, then
Right.
you go out and play it, and then you do that on repeat until you want to quit.
Right. Do you ever imagine you'd still be doing it after all these years?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the main reasons why I decided to go for music. I was very into sports as a kid. I still am. I was like very into soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment that I realized that soccer you do it till you're 30, and music, I saw B.B. King play live with 83 years old.
Yeah.
And you see that it really has no. It might have an age for you to be like a young pop star Justin Bieber kind of situation.
Right.
But there's still a long road to go, and I see this like older dudes like 75 still touring.
Oh yeah, look at the Stones, right?
I definitely see myself, like going all the way, and hopefully we'll get another 50 years of music.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. When you're writing, are you writing these songs for the song's sake, or are you writing a song for like how it's going to come across in front of an audience or a mood?
I used to write more like just jamming and like putting a bunch of riffs together, but over the years, I've been really studying songwriting. I did songwriting at Berkeley College of Music. That was my major. So I really like think about it. I mean, I try to like not think about when I'm like jamming and writing a riff or writing a melody, but I definitely put the songwriting aspects that I learned into mine, and just kind of write things like that. But it definitely happens naturally that you're writing, and you might like a riff you're writing, and then you imagine yourself playing it live, and that kind of excites you as well. And then you go out and play live, or release the songs, and then people have their own interpretation of your music. Maybe the song that you thought it was going to be the song ends up being another song,
Right.
Or maybe you thought this riff was going to kill it live, but people don't react to it, So it's like a try and error situation.
Right.
But yeah, for this album, I started writing. This is the first time that I released a solo album. I've always been in band situations, that democracy when it comes to writing. So I wrote like 200 demos from early 2019. Yeah, I mean, not super finished and like all the lyrics, but just like 200 demos that would give me enough idea and riffs to then come up with this 13-song album. So
right.
There's been a lot of thought into it.
Wow. So you have more material for another album for the next cycle when you say like a year from now, you'd be sitting on those.
I mean, if I wanted, I could recycle some demos, but I'll probably write another new 200 demos.
Right.
The second album.
So
that happens to me all the time. I write a full album, now I listen to it, and I'm like, okay, now I want to write something new and even better, Do
you find it difficult, or do you make a conscious effort to change from record to record so as not to write the same stuff over again?
Yeah, I mean, there's a point that you're writing so many demos and so many ideas that you end up repeating yourself. Right. It's good to repeat yourself because repetition is definitely a good thing in songwriting.
Right.
And you want some repetition when it comes to building your artistry, Like you hear an AC/DC song and you instantly know.
Sort of like your identity.
Yeah. I always quote this, but I saw a very fun interview in Rolling Stone years ago, and they told Angus, so what are your thoughts about having 10 albums that sound the same? And his response was, you're wrong. We have 11 albums that sound the same.
Nice.
But it's those great players. You hear Santana, okay, there's Santana. You hear
right.
Jimmy Page, oh, there's Jimmy Page. So it's good to have your own repetition and your own sound, so people were instantly, oh, that's a Bluhauz song.
Right.
But you definitely want to keep it flowing and keep it fresh, even though you're always going to recycle ideas. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess you said it keeps with the identity and the brand as well, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yeah, especially at the beginning, you don't want to throw out a reggae album and then a pop album and then a jazz album. And
right.
Then, once you're out there, like going back to Foo Fighters, they just released the Bee Gees, right? The Bee Gees cover album. I don't know if you've heard it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're in that moment of your career, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Right? But when you're, wanting to establish an identity and people getting to know you for something, it's always better to just kind of concentrate on the target, I guess.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So what's next for Bluhauz?
Well, now I got to go out and promote and play this album, I'm very excited to go out and tour. I'm definitely kind of waiting on things to cool off. You're seeing the big acts like Guns N' Roses and all of them are just starting to come back.
Right.
But yes, we're definitely looking into touring. Definitely looking into getting back to those major festivals. When I played Lollapalooza, I played Lollapalooza in Argentina and Chile back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge boost for the band that I was in. So definitely situations like that
right.
Start triggering things. So yeah, what's coming is more music, shows, and this is just the beginning for Bluhauz. That's how I see it.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to get back to a show. I still haven't. I know they're opening everywhere, but the timing has not been right yet, so I have not been to a show in a year and a half, and I'm dying.
Yeah, you'll have your moment when you feel good for it.
I'll even go see bluegrass music at this point. Anything live, I'll be happy with.
Anything that will get you moving, yeah.
Yeah, 100% right. Anything that gets you going, and anything would get me going at this time. Anything live.
Yeah, definitely. It's a different experience.
That's all I had on my list. Did I miss anything you wanted to cover?
No. Up to you. Whatever you want to talk about.
Thank you, my friend. Again, I apologize for the beginning. Hope that wasn't too bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You have a fantastic day. Good luck with the record, and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right, be well.
See you someday.
Right now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.